Yo guys, this is Pryor and today I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, as you can tell with my blanket and my cauldron of tea. So I was gonna film the How I Made So What video, but instead we're gonna run through some questions in Studio Q&A episode 2. Let's do it. So What is just about to hit 1 million streams on Spotify, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So I wanted to do something cool. I discussed it with my team, I discussed it with the label and the writers, and we all decided it would be a cool idea to put the acapella available for download. So you can get it in the description, and if there's some amazing remixes, we're gonna put them all into a remix EP and put it out on all platforms. So I really wanna hear some sick remixes from you guys, and if the demand's there, we'll put it into a remix EP on all of platforms. And also, the shout out this week is for Jess. Thank you so much for retweeting last week's video. I appreciate that a lot. Ilmaro Music asked me, what's the best tip you can give when submitting demos to labels and Spotify playlist owners or curators? Make sure you're looking at playlists and making sure that your music fits those playlists before you submit to certain curators that run those playlists. Of course, you have submission forms and stuff like that. If you didn't know about that, you can submit directly to curators. So I would just say, stay true to your sound and make what you really love making. Get it to a level where you feel you can send it to curators, and then just submit it through their forms. In terms of labels, I feel like these days you really have to go above and beyond with labels. You can't really just send a demo and be like, yeah, I'm a 10-year-old Azerbaijani trance producer, here's my demo, and send it to fucking Warner or whoever. You really have to stick out these days, and not that that doesn't stick out, kind of does. But me personally, my first meeting with a major label was at a label called Psycho, and that meeting came about when I had seen this producer, Digital Farm Animals, and he was killing it online. I was on his Instagram and I would see him working with really big artists and stuff, and I was just like, that's crazy. I want to get in touch with this guy and see if he can give me some advice. And I was DMing him and emailing him and everything, and doing all these generic approaches, and nothing was getting me there. No response whatsoever. And then I said, feck it, I'm gonna remix his latest single, which I really loved, by the way. It was called True, and you'll be able to find that online somewhere. And I remixed it. I had no parts, no stems. I literally just remixed the record with the original, and uploaded it, and it got 2 million streams on Soundcloud. And then obviously I got a response from him saying, it's sick. He gave me the stems to do it properly, all of that stuff. And we began talking, and then the label got involved and asked me to come to London to speak with them. If you didn't know, I helped produce Just Hold On by Louis Tomlinson and Steve Aoki. That's what that is. And that actually came from that whole story I just told you, was meeting with Psycho. They approached me with some projects. So my message after that rant would be literally just give your best to everyone, because you don't know where it will take you. The music industry strives off of luck, but I feel like as artists, you can create luck for yourself by working hard, networking, going above and beyond for people, and putting yourself in positions that can lead to further opportunities. Because you never know where these things will take you. So that would be my answer to that. Noah T Music asked me, have you ever thought about doing a radio show? No, I absolutely have thought about doing a radio show. I was on a call with my team recently, and we were discussing ideas, and one of the ideas that was brought up was a weekly radio show. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, please leave a comment below, and I will definitely look at doing that. Ilves Music asked me, have you ever made a track for other artists? Yes, I actually did quite a lot of that last year. I was doing a lot of writing and producing for other people's projects, and from this year onwards, I was like, I love doing it and I love creating music, but I really want to start creating music for myself. And yeah, this whole year I've literally just been putting full focus in my artist career. There's some tracks here and there that I'm not going to use for my artist career that I've given to other artists, but as far as this year goes, it's just fully focusing on my own project. Alex Buxera asked me, how much time did it take you to compose all this? Actually, it didn't take me very long. It took me like probably a day to create the main idea. I remember one morning I went for a run and I met up with a friend and I played him the idea that I had literally worked on the night before for maybe 15-20 minutes, and he went crazy. He was like, holy shit, you need to finish this. So I came back to my flat after the run and I finished out the song that day. Probably spent in total on the first idea about 10 hours, and then obviously went back and forth feedback with my management and other producer friends and stuff like that, and got to a final version eventually. But I'd say no more than probably like 20 hours. It was a very quick track to make. We Are J and P asked me, what is your biggest dream? I love this question. I have a lot of goals and I'm a very visual person. If you look up there, you can see I've got a vision board which I put all my goals in my life sort of plans out on this board, so that when I'm in the studio I can look up and like just see everything that I want to come into fruition. But as far as like big goals that I have that are quite concrete in my mind, one day I'd love to sell out either Malahide Castle or the 3 Arena. I grew up in Malahide, so that would be such a dream come true for me. I'd love to like take my parents on stage and stuff, and yeah, that is something that I plan on doing, so fingers crossed. Marius_100 asked me, where do you get that piano from on Make Love? It's built up of a ton of layers. Last week I made a walkthrough video how I made on Make Love, so go check that out if you haven't already, and it explains all of the pianos, all of the sounds, all of the processing and everything else to do with that track, so check that out. Ush Bosh asked me, what accent do you have? I'm from Dublin in Ireland, but growing up I was very much into the internet and sort of geeky things, and a lot of my friends were from different countries that I would talk to online, so I'd consider it kind of a neutral accent. Matto McKee asked, what is your best tip from going from decent tracks to professional ones? I would say remaking tracks. That was the biggest learning curve for me. I created a YouTube channel and put up a lot of remakes on that YouTube channel, and I got instant feedback from people just commenting like on this video, and I learned from them. You know, I made so many different variations of tracks, from pop tracks to house tracks, future house, drum and bass, and for me it just helped a ton to solidify sort of my sound, but also discover other sounds and learn how drum and bass is mixed, or dubstep, or progressive house. And all in all, it just really helps with basically every part of production, between sound design, mixing, everything. So I would say remake tracks, even if you don't want to put them online, just for yourself. I think there's a lot you can do with remaking tracks, and there's a lot you can learn. Mel's Music asked me, what speakers do you use? I want HS8s, but I have G3 Rocket 5s. I actually started producing on G2 Rocket 5s. I love them so much. And right now I'm using Genelec MO40s. One idea I had was giving you a studio tour and a flat tour, because some of my gear is around my flat and stuff. So if that's something you'd like to see, leave a comment below letting me know and I'll get it done for you. Connor McSherry asked me, how long did it take you to get noticed by Positiva and Selected after you started? So Selected actually have been supporting my music almost from the very start. I think the first track they supported of mine was All This, but we've been in contact a very long time before that. There was a lot of tracks that I sent them that they didn't upload, but they kept giving me feedback on and advice. So our relationship is built over probably around 4 years. Positiva, on the other hand, I signed a deal with Positiva and Virgin EMI about 2 years ago. Graham Norton 69 asked me, do you mix and master your own stuff, and what plugins do you use, and do you have any tips? I will make a full video on that because I think that's a subject that deserves its own video. But yes, I do mix and master pretty much all of my stuff. The only track that I didn't mix and master was Rich Kids. Fall MSK asked me, what was the hardest thing to overcome when you were starting your career? The hardest thing for me definitely was money. I had absolutely no money when I was starting out. I had left school. I went to university for like probably 3 or 4 weeks before deciding I didn't want to do it and I wanted to pursue music. And at the time, music wasn't going badly. Like, not badly at all, but I wasn't making any money from it, and I don't think my parents really understood it either. They would just see that I was like in my bedroom on my computer, and they didn't really understand that. And yeah, every Tuesday I would go to the post office and I would sign on to the dole and take my money and then go home, and it was very monotonous and very like depressing, to be honest, but it definitely drove me and definitely like helped me get to the position I'm at now and where I want to be. But yeah, they were definitely the toughest times because my parents weren't sure if it was going to work out. I wasn't sure if it was going to work out. And until I got sort of my first paycheck, yeah, it was pretty much like not a great environment to be living in. So yeah, those times are really tough, but they definitely helped me sort of be a lot more hungrier and just want things even more. So I've definitely adopted that mindset, and it definitely helped me, but being in that position was really hard. My buddy Thomas Kaiser asked me, how has your move to London helped/improved your career? I would say it helped so much. When I was in Dublin, I had signed my record deal already, but it didn't feel like I was an artist. It didn't feel like I was like professional at all. I was like in my little room and like making music on my laptop, you know, it's basically what I'm doing now, but it just didn't feel real. And when I moved to London, I had my team surrounding me, I had my label, I had my publishing, PR, like everyone who was working on my project was in the city that I was living in, and it felt a lot more real because I was getting in the studio with writers, and like it just felt a lot more real living here. And I think that helped a lot because I started to take myself more seriously and the goals and visions I had a lot more seriously. So my work ethic has improved, and I feel like, yeah, there's just only positive things from what I've experienced from moving here. And maybe one negative is that I miss my family and friends, but that's something that can't be sorted out with a trip home. So yeah, it's just been amazing. Tony Rowe 1010 asked me, are you thinking of or have any upcoming collabs with Irish artists? I do, actually. If you've been active on my Instagram or looking at my stories or anything like that, that's the best place to follow me. I upload a lot of my sort of studio sessions and who I'm working with, so you can probably get an idea of who I've got a song coming out with if you go over there and check my stories. Shameless plug. This is my last question. It's from Pryor Official, and he asked me, how important is networking? Networking is hugely important. It's a necessity. I always try and just be as real as possible in music. There's like a ton of fake, weird people, and you can tell instantly like if it's a forced conversation or they're just trying to work with you or anything like that. So I always just try to keep things really natural. I'm always myself, and I just really want to make friends at the end of the day, and I expand my network that way. You do obviously have people who converse and network just for business purposes, but I'm not really like that. I just like making friends, and yeah, so definitely network, but do it in a cool way. Don't be fucking weird. But yeah, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I'm a little bit low on energy, but next week I'll be back with full energy, and I'll be doing how I made So What. Also, I didn't forget about the hoodie giveaway, and that is going to Minecraft Skin, so congratulations. I will DM you on Instagram and get your details. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.